Sweat and Soap Volume 9 Review. In Volume 8 of Sweat and Soap, things were looking positive for Kotaro and Asako as the two celebrated their first anniversary together and enjoyed a company trip. However, now Volume 9 is here and Asako is in tears on the cover, so it seems like this installment of the series is potentially headed down a sad path. Let's find out more. This book opens with Asako and Kotaro attending the summer festival together and then moves into a storyline about her catching a cold and Kotaro attempting to take care of her during the second chapter. These are a good way to start since they capture some of the things we love most about the series, which is the relationship between our two main characters. After these chapters, we move into the story arc, but this volume is centered around Asako takes an overnight trip back to her parents' house, as an opportunity to meet with an old friend from junior high school has come out. Asako's friend Mitsuki is in a very different place in her life compared to our protagonist. She's been married, and they're now separated. He has a 2-year-old daughter. Naturally, as part of the catch-up, the girls talk about their love lives, as Mitsuki comments that she was surprised to hear Asako was move in with someone, given how she kept herself closed off from everyone back in school. Mitsuki also talks about how her marriage fell apart due to her being unable to give her partner the time and affection he needed after their daughter was born, which certainly gives Asako plenty to think about. So she and Kotaro get married, and they have kids of their own. If that wasn't enough, Asako runs into a classmate who goes unnamed from grade school, one who called Asako Anstinko, and used to bully her about how much she sweated, given she used the nickname of discreting. Mitsuki asks about it, and the classmate explains the reasons that Asako hasn't changed even now and still seems to sweat a lot. This encounters understandably upset Asako, not just because it's dredging up bad memories from her childhood, but also because someone on commenting on her body right now is a blow to her confidence. Since she started dating Kotaro, Asako's grown more comfortable in her own skin and doesn't worry as much about how other people see her. Sure, she still gets anxious at times, but the reassurance for those who she cares about has gone a long way in making her forget about the pains of her childhood. Asako can forget about what her classmates said, and even after returning home to Kotaro, she can bring herself to tell him about what happened, but it's weighing on her mind. All the same, so she finds herself spiraling mentally and pushing away her partner, telling him she needs one time, despite the fact he's the one person who could help her. For his part, Kotaro doesn't know what to do. He doesn't want to push her, but she also worries that her relationship is going to fall apart like this, which is heartbreaking considering he was once again contemplating marriage just before this happened. But a Pluto he may not approach Asako as to what's on her mind. I like how author Kitetsu Yamada shows things from his perspective, especially how he can sense Asako's sadness for smelling her scent, and that he asks her boss and friend or advice about what to do. Kotaro is always portrayed as being incredibly caring and impulsive when it matters. It takes small steps to work out what to do, which is realistic given the relationship these two have. For some readers, it might seem surprising that this was enough to throw Asako off, but it wants to praise Yamada for how realistic and grounded this story is. It's not unreasonable that someone will spiral when a deeply rooted anxiety is brought to the surface, nor do they think it was silly and not want to talk about it with those they love. I've been in the position before Yamada portrays a perfectly drunk Asako. The author does such a good job, but with it, that is spent the second half of this book close to or in tears as Asako fought with her demons, simply because her feelings are expressed in such detail during the artwork and dialogue. Honestly, these chapters are heartbreaking, but that's a good thing in this context since it's a clearly getting joke to me as a reader. I often praise Sweat and Soap for being relatable and realistic, and this installment is yet another tick in those checkboxes. Sweat and Soap Volume comes to the West thanks to Kodansha and continues to be translated by Matt Trevode. As usual, the translation reads with no issues to note. Volume 2 is already available with Volume 11 following the later this month, which will bring the series to its conclusion. Overall, Sweat and Soap Volume is easily one of the most emotional series entries in the series so far. I did say that this manga excels at being realistic and grounded, but all of the books so far, this is the one to perfectly capture that feeling. Make sure you have some tissues at the ready. 10 over 10.